Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, Pad FM in Delmongo, Jubilee FM in Keta. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank. Let's go. And coming up, expenditure on Ghana's AFCON campaign sparks outrage amongst football lovers and the general public.
Doesn't make sense for the Ministry of Sports to prepare a budget of about $6 million when indeed if we had won the cup, the money would have brought home would have been $4 million.
We have spent $4.56 million and we only got to the 1/16 stage, not even the quarterfinals.
We'll hear views from the streets and speak to a sports analyst as demands on the sector minister to provide more details increase. GRA workers accuse their management and politicians of interference in their work, making it difficult to execute their role of collecting revenue for the state.
The same people who came with through political appointments have their children as clearing agents who are using exemptions to clear goods. Is that not conflict of interest?
We have details. Also, LPG marketing companies are demanding an immediate removal of taxes on LPG. They say has led to an increase in the price of gas and resulting in some switching from LPG to charcoal.
Gas is too expensive and it's not helping my business. So I normally use charcoal because it's affordable and lasts longer.
$1 million and we try 1 month.
Government should please help us with the price of the gas.
Also, NDC General Secretary heads to Northern Region to vet 53 parliamentary aspirants. We'll get a live update and hear from a new entrant and a former minister who is vowing to annex the Adenta seat.
I'll be making history because I'll be the first ever woman to take that seat, and I have worked hard, and there is evidence that I serve the people of Ghana with diligence and I am able to achieve results.
And on Tech Thursday today, we'll tell you about an app known as HealthMate, which provides users with special dietary plan. Details coming up here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And we start off with sports because there are growing calls on the sports minister, Isaac Isiama, to provide a detailed breakdown of the 4.5 million expenditure spent on the Ghanaian delegation to the just ended AFCON tournament in Egypt. The amount was the same paid as prize money for the winner, Algeria. Prior to the departure of the team, there were calls by the minority and some sports pundits for their budget to be made available. Briefing the House yesterday, Mr. Isiama said out of an amount of $6.3 million earmarked for the team's campaign, an amount of $4.5 million was spent, leading to a savings of $1.7 million.
A budget of $6,365,033.84 was approved for the tournament, comprising training tour, main tournament, and related activities. Now, the actual expenditure, Mr. Speaker, an amount of $4,564,352 was expended from the training tour to the time Ghana exited from the main tournament. Now the breakdown: airfare $924,168, per diem for players $187,050, per diem for technical staff $129,600, per diem for additional technical staff $90,750, winning bonus for players $965,405. Winning bonus for technical team 347,207. Winning bonus for additional technical team 177,000. That's $177,000. Accommodation in here includes pre-tournament camping and of course camping facilities. Also for the paying body and of course the main tournament itself for members of the GFA, some who were there, old players who were there, some of them Ghana Supporters Union, Ministry officials, journalists, and sports members of parliament. And that amount is $1,143,509. Medicals across board $44,574. Visa fees $8,541. Internal transportation $43,092. Incidentals $42,057. So total is, as I said, 4,546,350. I repeat, 4,564,352. $4,506,000. The difference here of $635 million and $464 million will return to government chest. That's a difference of $1,079 will return to government chest. That is the difference.
So that's the Sports Minister Isaac Isiama addressing Parliament yesterday, but not Tong MP Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa called for a further probe into the figures the Sports Minister presented. According to him, it is unreasonable to spend more than 100% of the budget used at the last edition of the tournament, which got Ghana to the semi-finals.
There are a number of financial issues that we must also confront. The last tournament, the 2017 AFCON, this House was presented a budget by the then Sports Minister of $3.37 million. How is it that the Honorable Minister budgeted for about 100% increase of $6.2 million, even though the Minister has told us that $4.56 million was utilized? The question therefore is, if in 2017 we spent $3.37 million and we got to the semi-finals, $3.37 million. Now we have spent $4.56 million and we only got to the 1/16 stage, not even the quarterfinals. Like many Ghanaians, we need to probe these figures further.
Now, ranking member of the Youth and Sports Committee, Kobina Mensah Woyome, is also demanding a detailed breakdown of the amount spent on the team.
What was presented to us today, apparently to them, because we also hearing other figures, that that was what was spent. And so we will do a further work in terms of oversight, and possibly by the close of the week, we'll come up with what we think are findings also. The worry is how items have been lumped up together and they made to look like all of the money that had been actually written, about $4.3 million, $4.5 million thereabouts that was spent.
You heard that the ranking member of the Youth and Sports Committee, Kobina Mensah Woyome, there. Well, some football lovers, Join You spoke to, have also expressed outrage at the figures presented by the minister and are demanding clarification. Listen to some of them.
I have always said that as Ghanaians, we've gotten to a point in time where there is even the need to create common sense ministry, because it doesn't make sense for the Ministry of Sports to prepare a budget of about $6 million, when indeed if we had won the cap, the money would have brought home would have been $4 million, $4.5 million. I mean, so who caters for the deficits? That is a question we must ask them. The truth of the matter is that
how much was the budget? 4.5. And the tournament, if you win, how much are you giving? 4.5. It's insane. It doesn't really make sense to spend 4.5 just qualifying from group stage to the next stage, and then you couldn't even win to the next stage, and then you spent 4.5. Massa, I'm sure there's some criminal stuff somewhere. I'm sure there's corruption somewhere. I'm very, very sure. And the minister should come again. For 4.5 there, I don't think it's true.
We budgeted 6 point something to the AFCON. Just from round 16, you went out of the whole game. And you've spent almost 4.5. So assuming you would have gotten to the final, how much more would you spend? I think that there is some inconsistency in what the minister just did at Parliament. I think that he should come again, because personally, I don't believe that the 4.5, as he was supposed to say or have been said, is something that is true. I think that just opposing this 4.52, as it were 6 point something for the whole tournament, the 4.5 wouldn't have been spent.
You heard there some of your views on the streets of Accra. Let's speak to sports analyst Jerome Otri. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So you understand the game better than most of us do. Please help me understand. Do you understand how we have additional technical team and technical team? Do you really get the whole breakdown?
I do not get it. And that is why some of us also believe that the minister will have to come again. Indeed, he has said that there will be further details. But, I mean, let's face it. The amount of money we are spending on the Black Stars alone at various competitions are way too much. And if you look at how much the team has given to us in returns, even in, I mean, the winning of silverware, you would agree with me that we are wasting so much money. The difficulty I have is not so much with how much we would have been given if we had won the competition and how much we are spending on the competition. I don't have a problem with that because I know that for tournaments like this, it will always be possible that you would spend more than what you will be given. Our problem is with how, for instance, we were told that winning bonuses will be slashed down, qualification bonuses will be paid instead. Now, what the minister gave us, it is difficult to tell whether, for instance, appearance fees were paid, winning bonuses were paid, and indeed, whether qualification bonuses were paid. We do not know. So, if you look at all these things, it's hard to understand how, for a team that won just one match in 4 matches, we paid close to $1 million as winning bonus.
But it was budgeted ahead. We didn't know that we were going to win just one match. But you know how the saying goes, that it takes fish to catch fish. If you're not ready to give fish, how do you expect to catch fish?
That is true. But there are countries that did better than us who are not paying or who did not pay as we have done. In fact, Senegal, they were in the final. They lost to Algeria. They, from what we have heard, did not even pay their players more than $50,000. But if you do a breakdown of what we have given as winning bonuses, as stated on the minister's paper, we paid close to $42,000 as winning bonuses. And that cannot be justified. It cannot.
So overall, though, what are you expecting the minister to do? Give you a further breakdown? Or this is not enough breakdown?
It is not. From what I have seen, he appears to have lumped everything together. It is very confusing. You cannot make any better judgment of it. I would expect that he will come again and break everything down. How do we spend close to $500,000 on feeding? It is not rational. It is not something that the Ghanaian public should accept. And that is why some of us believe that he should come again, break those figures down, so that we can interrogate it properly.
We're grateful for your time. That's Jerome Otri. He's a sports analyst. Let's turn our attention to some other issues now on the Midday News, because workers of the country's foremost revenue collection agency, the Ghana Revenue Authority, are accusing management of the organization and some politicians of interference in their work, leading to significant losses of potential revenue to the state. They fell short of mentioning names, but said the extent of interference is such that it will make it difficult to meet its revenue targets for this year. At Edinburgh in Accra, the workers raised concern about this and other cases of impediments hampering operation of the GRA. They cite, for instance, the irregular recruitment of personnel into the service whose competence usually is in doubt due to their poor performance. Latif Idris was at the Deba and now reports.
I bet you, anybody who mistakenly step on my foot, I swear, thank you.
A staff of GRA expressing some misgivings at the agency, a phenomenon that majority of her colleagues say is deflating morale of the staff.
And let me tell you, they are creating enmity between us. The same people who came in through political appointments have their children as clearing agents who are using exemptions to clear goods. Is that not conflict of interest? Tell me. Those of us who had the job on the silver platter, and then you think that you should help or you should work for your superiorities. Me, I don't see them as such, because they are not God. Those godfathers, if God said they should die now, they are going to die.
When you report some of those things, our big man, they will not mind you. You remove the barriers, what protocol. It's not our protocol. Sometimes now, when somebody escapes or is able to come out at Tamaport with a container, that's all, because there's no way you can trace it. But the barriers were there to serve as checks.
Addressing Edeba, Secretary of the National Union of GRA Workers, Ken Chinebua Kudia, sent notice to the political class to put a stop to the practice of ordering custom officers and Ghana Revenue Authority staff to discharge and release impounded contraband goods whenever officers go on the field to generate revenue for the state.
We want to turn our negative target for the first half into positive. We are stepping down as union leaders. We are going down on the road to the port, to the officers. We are going to not only name our officers who connive and condone in their work, but also the excess political interferences in our work. Importers could be businessmen or they are businessmen. They want more profits and they do everything to get a profit.
Government, as part of the ECOWAS protocol, removed a number of custom officers from the vantage points to allow unhindered movement of vehicles. The union is, however, calling on governments to bring those men back because their absence is adversely impacting on revenue generation.
These officers were on the road to track goods in transit. Somebody collects his goods from Tabahabo, meant for Burkina Faso. The officers were on the road to guide and monitor these goods so that once they leave Tema, they end up in Burkina Faso. Now, people collect the goods from Tema, don't pay the duties. The goods are meant for Burkina Faso and they end up in Ghana.
The union, after rejecting a 5% increment bonus announced by the leadership, gave the board a 1-week ultimatum to respond to their concerns.
This is a matter that we'll interrogate further in our subsequent bulletins. But with a few days to the mid-year budget review, the Liquefied Marketing Companies Association is demanding government removes taxes on liquefied petroleum gas. The association says LPG, which used to be subsidized, has its price build-up constituted of more than 23% taxes today, which is affecting marketers and users. We'll hear from the association, but first, here's Henry Kwesibedu's report read to you, focusing on local eatery operators and reasons why they are switching from LPG to charcoal.
It's not to say gas isn't good. It is, but honestly, I prefer charcoal to gas. Gas is too expensive and it does not even last long.
It's 8 p.m. in Accra, just around the time the market booms for sellers of noodles, tea, rice and other eatables. Dinah has been selling noodles in the evening for more than 5 years. She owns a 2-burner LPG stove, but she doesn't cook on it. Instead, she uses it for storage. She says she stopped using it for the past few months due to the drastic increment in LPG price.
Now I use charcoal because the gas is too expensive, so I can't afford it. A full bag of charcoal costs 60 or 70 cedis depending on the type of wood, and it's able to last for 2 months. I won't use gas again until it is reduced.
For 600,000, a bit for 500. It depends if you are no more there, no more return. I
take a stroll to other sellers in the city. I meet Equia and Mavis who use LPG and charcoal at the same time. Their case is no different, as they say they are left with no option than to complement their cooking with charcoal since LPG is too expensive.
Gas is too expensive and it's not helping my business. So I normally use charcoal because it's affordable and lasts longer.
$1 million and we try 1 month.
These women want government to intervene and help reduce the price of LPG in the country.
Government should please help us with the price of the gas.
Until now, LPG has been the preferred choice for many people in Ghana, but barriers such as cost and access are beginning to force a shift from LPG back to charcoal. This, environmentalists warn, could have dire consequences on the environment, such as rising sea level, among others.
Henry Kwesibedu's report there read to you. Now, according to the LPG Marketers Association, the persistent increase in the price is mainly the reason for the switch from LPG to other unhealthy fuel alternatives. They want government to remove all taxes on the product. Gabriel Kumi is vice chairman.
At the moment, LPG consumption in Ghana is stagnant. If you look at between 2006 and 2016, a period of over 10 years, consumption of LPG was growing at an average rate of 16.16%. After the taxes were introduced and crude oil price started shooting up, the consumption has remained very stagnant from 2016 to present. And the first quarter figures of this year compared to first quarter last year shows that consumption is going down. People who used to consume LPG are now switching to charcoal. If you go to the station, we have chop bars and restaurants that have these huge cylinders, about 10 of them, some having 5, some are having 20, who used to come to our station and fill all these cylinders to the full. But what is happening currently is that they now come and fill just about 1 or 2, and then they supplement that with charcoal. And gradually, all these eatery joints are switching from LPG back to charcoal. And we think that is against government objective of introducing LPG in the first. The main objective of introducing LPG was to ensure that we stop using charcoal and all these wood fuel and switch to LPG so that we can have a cleaner Ghana.
You heard that the Vice Chairman of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, there's been mixed reactions from families of the 3 missing girls to President Akufo-Addo's assurance that they will be found. It's been almost a year since the girls Ruth-Love Quayson, Priscilla Blessing Bintum, and Priscilla Crunchy went missing, and the families say calls for government to update them on their investigations have gone unheeded. Their families and friends have staged a series of protests against the failure of security agencies to find them. Before we hear from the families of the 2 of the 3 missing girls, listen to the assurance given by President Akufo-Addo.
All efforts are being made to bring back the girls. The fact that not much information has been put out in the public domain does not imply that the state or security agencies are not working hard to ensure the safe return of the girls. We are really working to reunite the girls with their families.
Here's how uncle of Ruth-Love Quayson of Bing Terrier reacted to the assurance.
The president's assurance doesn't sit well with me. He should have come to visit the mothers of the missing girls during his tour of the Western region to get first-hand information about the situation. He was in the Ahanta area, but decided to comment on the matter in Axim. Yes, it's in the Western region, but it's far from where those affected are. If the ministers in this region will be honest, this was not done right. If it was just about hearing from the president, he could have spoken from Accra.
But Francis Bintum, father of Priscilla Bintum, believes the president's assurance shows that he's concerned about the matter.
I
want to thank the president for breaking his silence on this matter, and I have been encouraged by that. Listening to him, I realized that he's indeed concerned about it, but the parents got it wrong by misinterpreting his silence.
Because it's telling some now like I
also agree that when it comes to security issues, not all information can be divulged to us. I'm very hopeful that the children will be back and the president will come back here with a heartwarming message than he has currently shared. I also urge the new Inspector General of Police to do more than his predecessor did to find the missing girls. By August 17th, my charge would have been a year in the hands of her captors.
Because August 17th,
Francis Bintum is father of Priscilla Bintum, one of the 3 Takoradi girls kidnapped for almost a year. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, NDC General Secretary heads to Northern Region to vet 53 parliamentary aspirants. We'll get a live update and hear from a new entrant and a former minister who is vowing to annex the Adenta seat.
I'll be making history because I'll be the first ever woman to take that seat, and I have worked hard, and there is evidence that I serve the people of Ghana with diligence, and I am able to achieve results.
Let's go, My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality, but I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302-633-988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go!
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Now, the General Secretary of the Opposition NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, is in the Northern Region where he's leading a team to vet parliamentary aspirants in that region. In all, 53 people from the 13 constituencies have picked up forms to contest the primary. Shortly, we'll go on the line and get an update from our reporter. But first, listen to Mr. Asiedu Nketia earlier this month explaining the vetting process.
The vetting will take place on 24th to 25th, and then there will be 2 other days, 26 and 27, available for people who want to challenge the decision of the vetting committee, which comes to your place. You have the right of appeal to higher authority until it ends at headquarters. So we will look at that one. We will then be hearing appeals from 29th to 31st.
General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, Northern Regional Correspondent Hashmin Mohammed has been monitoring events there in the region and joins us on the line. Hashmin, has the vetting process begun?
Well, the vetting process started a while ago with the National Secretary, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, giving a word of caution to the aspirants to conduct themselves in a manner that will unite the party. He said the panel do not have any intention of disqualifying any aspirant or any candidate. They want to leave that responsibility in the hands of the delegates of the party, and that if any aspirant is pushing for the disqualification of any of his colleagues, then that means that aspirant fears that going into the elections, he will not be able to pull the maximum votes for the party to be able to win in any of the constituency.
You heard there my colleague Hashmin Mohammed. Of course, the vetting process is underway across the country. But meanwhile, the former Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Oyelitha, is confident of winning the Adenta constituency seat in 2020, even before she goes through her primaries. She's been speaking to join us.
I'm telling the delegates that I am the trusted candidate, I'm the unifier, I have the competence, I have the experience, and also I will work and strengthen Adenta, and very importantly, together with all NDC, we will win Adenta seat come December 2020, and we will together take that seat for the NDC so that we have good governance.
What makes you stand out among the others?
I'll be making history because I'll be the first ever woman to take that seat. I have worked hard. I've worked in private sector as a corporate lawyer. I've championed the rights in all these various capacities. I have reached the pinnacle and I have worked hard.
You heard the former Gender and Social Protection Minister, Nana Oyelitha. Now, veteran journalist Haruna Atta is our lead campaigner for defending media freedom today, and he wants President Akufo-Addo to speak out against recent spate of attacks against the media. This, according to him, is because the record of this government rivals that of former President Rawlings during the dark days. The former ambassador to Namibia has been speaking to Raymond Akwa.
But generally within those periods, and I'm not being political, President Kufuor, President Mills, and President Mahama, these three presidents for me stand up as tolerant people, and so the media could be tolerated. I thought that this period would have seen the blossoming of media. Why even go and arrest someone who is working on the web, this modern Ghana thing? Why close Radio Gold and the others? XYZ.
Can we separate the leadership of the authority, in this case that's the NCA, from what would have been the position of the executive president of the republic?
No, we want to hear what he has to say about all these things. There's too much silence with the happenings here. There's just too much silence. Yeah. So it cannot be a golden age.
So that's veteran journalist Haruna Atta. The full interview will be on Upfront on Joy News Channel or Multi TV with Raymond Dakwa. What's trending on social media, Afghan?
Yes, people are talking about that budget, and Anusa says this country, we're not learning and we'll never learn. The Black Stars are cash cow for the leaders of this country. It's been the same story from day one. And Lydia says the tournament cry, we know to go against surf. We left early and poor. Next time I suggest we use this money to build more classrooms and furnish them for students. And Al Hassan says, someone said if we keep lamenting over the AFCON expenditure, they will use the remaining money to set up a committee of inquiry and chop that one too.
It deserves some applause though. Your tree has improved. And just before we go, the Supreme Court has in a unanimous decision pegged the minimum value of the two properties belonging to businessman Alfred Agbeshi-Woyome at 11.7 million Ghana cedis. There's more on this when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apao.